I'm Tito, which is it's like a small name actually. I'm Valery for people who know me. I'm in my late 30s. I'm a Pan-Africanist. I'm a poet, an entertainer, motivational speaker. I'm a brother, a friend, and an unconditional Cameroon lover, Pan-Africanist. Absolutely. The Johnnie Music and Whiskey JMW, it's quite a fun show, quite successful in my opinion. It's two very different cities. Douala and Yaoundé have very different vibes. Douala is a lot more chaotic in terms of the atmosphere, in terms of the energy, in terms of the spirit of the people. And it was, an open air, which is a lot different with when you have an indoor concert, where the sound is a lot different, where there's more intimacy, people are closer, and that of course always influences how how people feel the show and how the artists on stage feel the show, as in the focus, what their focus is. So I think it was a very different cities, but I think it was a deep concert, a deep show. The fact that it was live or semi-live, some people would argue that it was semi-live, just brings a whole freshness to it. The fact that urban music is turning towards a more performative style when it came to this show, I think it made it a very different show in general.
Since that day it's been you and only you. Oh, nah, nah. Everybody knows that I'm in love with you.
I don't know, I think the lighting was really great. I think Easy Group, really, I think they did a great job with the lighting. I think the team, the Diageo team, look, the thing with concerts is this, it's the people that organize concerts determine what their energy is about. And I like the fact that they trusted young people on this show, that you had, a very, definite memo. The marketing manager knew exactly what she wanted. Charlie knew exactly what he wanted. TP knew exactly what they wanted. And it's very different when people know exactly what they want and you're not freestyling and improvising. It's a lot, it makes a whole great difference. Yes, I absolutely like that this show, the lighting was really dope. I like that the energy of the artists was, they geared up, before the show. They rehearsed, Minx rehearsed, Kosi rehearsed, Shura. And then of course Jovi, and the fact that Tekno, his first time in Cameroon. Yeah, I think that's the difference with this show. I think this show brought the live element into play for artists that don't usually do live.
Baby, if I hurt you, sorry. Les mauvaises choses que j'ai faites toujours. Sorry. Ooh, je suis désolé. Sorry. I'm sorry.
I haven't done. The last show I did here was, last year. I just came back from the States, and I did. We did Davido, and before I went for London. But before that, I hadn't done any show in Cameroon. I think the last show I did was probably Ianya, or way back, Ianya or Flavor, I think. That's a while back. So it's always fun, I'm always up for a good challenge, and I like being on stage. This is one of the things I miss the most when I was on TV, is being able to link up with people that know you in real life, and that's a lot. It gives you time to feel people's energy, and as a motivational speaker, I really love talking to people. I love talking to young people. I love, poking their minds. And I've always dreamt of doing stand-up comedy, so I think I use that as a practice, as like a, as a practice stage, because I'm doing the Apollo at the end of this year. So I'm really, it was fun. It's fun. It's fun to be back.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, Chinois, I work with Chinois. I was booked by Chinois Younger. I worked with Chinois on a couple of stuff, on a lot of stuff actually. So I think that energy is there, that confidence is there. But I think it's also because I cut across both, both cultures. I speak English and French. The fact that being bilingual is very important, as something that most hosts don't do. Most hosts, unfortunately in Cameroon, don't take into consideration to be able to be at the same level in both languages. Some people are bilingual, but to have the same energy to flow through both languages is a rare thing that I have, and I've worked on that for so many years. So that's something that I have probably upper against other people. But I also think that that there are very good hosts out there. I just think that a lot of people are not given the chance that they need. And in as much as I'm grateful, being here and doing this again, I still think there are other hosts out there that are really good, and they're just not given the right chance. And I think it's for them to show and prove as well. I think the promoters have to search for talent. You can't just say talent doesn't exist. It's there. You have to go look for it. And on the other side, the people that have the talent have to be able to push their talent. It's not always about money. My first shows, I remember, I was being paid chicken change. But you have to go through that. You have to. That's a phase that you have to go through to establish yourself. As somebody that you want to be taken seriously, you have to go out there. So I think there's still very good hosts. I think we need female hosts. I think we need a very dope female host. We don't have one. They're MCs. Don't get me wrong. Like a concert and a corporate event is two different things. A concert and a gala is two different things. It's the different energy, different crowd, different tempo, different volume, different speed, different lightings. All those things are very, very relevant. So you have to keep them in mind. But yeah, absolutely. I think that we need to bridge those gaps. Yeah.
The things I do, baby, if I hurt you, sorry. Les mauvaises choses que j'ai faites toujours, sorry. Ooh, je suis...
Favorite? That's difficult to say. I think that every artist has their own thing. Everybody had a different energy, because the crowd came for different people. The crowd, obviously Jovi's crowd was there, Boko Gang. Obviously Tekno's crowd was there as well. Obviously Ming's crowd. Obviously Kosi's crowd. I don't know about Shurat's crowd, but obviously people were all there for somebody. Favorite performance? No, but I think that the moment where it dawned on me that I felt good and I had goosebumps was when I saw how the people welcomed Jovi. I think it was a special moment for me because I know his story. We were very close, and he's been waiting for this. This is something he planned. It's not a mistake. So to see that come alive, to see that fan base materialize, you feel it online, but to feel it offline is a very special moment. Not only for the audience, but for him as well. You can tell when an artist is into his thing, and yeah, I think he's a very special person. And then it's good to see Kosi do live. I think people don't realize how talented he is, because you think about the studio and when he's recording, and you think about editing and cut and paste, but when he's rapping for real in front of the audience and he's doing the speed thing, it's crazy. It's kind of mind blowing. And then Minx, to see Minx, I don't know, man. I feel like Minx has grown into this really mature artist. I remember seeing him on stage 5-6 years ago when he was just starting. We're doing Douala Hip Hop Festival with Jules, and Toko, and I remember seeing him on stage. He was a kid back then. He still is a kid, but he's blossomed into this very confident artist, and it's pleasant to see that. And then well, Slim Daddy, I mean, I wish he was at more than 50% health-wise. But you can tell that he's a professional. You can tell when he comes on stage, it's like a Lego piece, it just fits, he would have done a longer show if his health would have, I speak for that because we did talk about it. But you can tell that, he's been doing this for long. It's automatic, it's easy. He comes on stage, he makes it fun. He's got his brothers with him, his backers. So it's a whole different vibe, but that's really what the Nigerians are about, right? Performance. And I think we need to work on that. But basically, that's, if I would say something about that. Shura, I'd never seen her on stage. I think there's a lot more work to be done. I think it's a good test. I think it's a lot of pressure for an artist like that who's not as big as Daphne or any other artist, any female artist out there. Apart from Daphne, I don't know who's that big. Blanche, seen her on stage. But, I think Shura, anybody would have, it would have been hard for anybody, any female artist. So I think she still has work to do, but, she has love, and she's passionate. And I like that about her. I like that she has the passion. Yeah. That's what I can say about that show.
I'm sorry. Baby, if I hurt you, les mauvaises choses que j'ai faites toujours. Ooh, je suis désolé. I'm sorry.
Oh no, I'm absolutely happy. I'm absolutely happy. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that we have gotten to a place where we start to identify value. And value is important. It's important that we value our artists. And we've been having this conversation for so long on social media, on and offline, about what we need to do, and how we need to approach our love and our appreciation for art in this country. So I think it's a great step forward. But I don't get hyped about social media because it's just social media. At the end of the day, the most important thing is to have quality talent out there. And a lot of people who are talking about, it's one thing to talk about something that you haven't seen, and it's one thing to see it. That's what I want to remember about this show. I want to remember that people on social media are recognizing talent. And we're recognizing talent, and we're giving talent a place. Because it's a country where people who have no talent are celebrated, on and offline. And I think that at the end of the day, like I said 5-6 years ago, I said, you can mix oil and water when it's hot, but when the thing's cool down, water separates and oil separates. So at one point, the oil will separate and the water will separate, and we can tell who's good and who's not. And this is it. We're almost there. We're just getting started, but we're almost there. I'm not here all year round ever since I lost my mom, like 3-4 years ago, and because I don't have a job in Cameroon. People don't know that. I gotta eat, I gotta rent, I gotta pay rent, I gotta take care of my family, I gotta take care of my dog, I gotta so I'm obliged to go out and do what I have to do. At the same time, I'm not just all about hip hop. I talk a lot about the Anglophone problem because I identify myself with that culture. I was born here, I was raised in Bamenda, I was raised in Boye, so it's important to me that our voice, that we use my voice and to use the following that I have to talk about the problems that my family and family of friends, are going through. We've lost so many people in this struggle. So my work is about that, my performance work is about that. The piece I did in London was about that. The play I'm doing this year, the podcast I'm working on is about that. So I have to go and do what I have to do. But yeah, I absolutely love to do other shows here. I'm actually having proposed to do other shows this year. But we'll see. We'll see how that turns. You know, when I'm back in the country. Why not?
Let's keep our dirty laundry to ourselves. Let's take our little secrets into hell. My lips are sealed, I promise not to kiss and tell. Then if you buy what case, if it's in I for sale. Keep on low like my enemies, the IQ. Look at how they see their hope.